I let my sister live in my $940,000 home. I covered $2,800 in monthly bills. I even babysat for free. At her birthday party, she raised her glass and said, "He's been emotionally useless since '98," then toasted, "To the new owner." That same night, I stumbled on the property transfer paperwork. I leaned in and whispered, "Bold move." By the time the sun rose, every account, every login, every single connection, gone. All rerouted to my legal team. The next morning, taped to the front door, she saw a document. And no, it wasn't a birthday card. "You want to know your problem?" My sister Rachel said, swirling her champagne like she ran the place. "You've been emotionally useless since 1998. The room froze. Then she lifted her glass. "To the new owner." Laughter erupted, from people I had cooked for, sheltered, supported. My aunt clinked glasses with her like it was some kind of celebration. My mom offered a forced smile, lips pressed tight. And my dad? He slouched back in the chair I paid for and muttered, "Told you he can't take a joke." What none of them realized was this: I wasn't stunned. Not anymore. Was I angry? Of course. But under all that heat, there was this eerie calm, because I'd already seen the email she forgot to erase. I'd already found the signed transfer form sitting right on my own printer. I even knew she'd called my lawyer, pretending to be me. So when she toasted to the new owner, I didn't even blink. I just leaned closer and said, "Bold move." Then I quietly got up, walked to my office, and hit send. And just like that, everything started to disappear. Accounts, bills, access, wiped clean, unlinked, reassigned. The little empire they built on my kindness, I dismantled it piece by piece, surgical, deliberate. At 6 a.m. the next morning, Rachel found a document taped to the door. Legal header, my name, bolded at the top. Let's just say it wasn't a goodbye note. Think this is the ending? It's not. This is just where the real story kicks off, because none of this began with the house. It began with everything they drained from me before that. The just for now setups, years of unpaid emotional labor, sacrifices no one ever saw. They counted on me being the soft landing, the forever safety net. They thought I'd always be the doormat. But here's the truth. I'm not the doormat anymore. I'm the damn door. I didn't just stumble into a $940,000 house. I earned every inch of it, every utility, every login, every bill, mine. But the moment the paint was dry, Rachel moved in like it was already hers. "It's just for a bit," she said. "That guest room's not doing anything. You've got space. What's the harm?" The harm? She never left. At first I told myself it was okay. I'm the older brother. She was trying to bounce back after the divorce. I had a steady job in cybersecurity. I could afford to help for a while, but a while turned into everything. She showed up empty-handed. No bed, no dishes, nothing. So I furnished her room, hooked her into my smart home system, and even added her to the grocery list. Then the bills climbed: utilities, water, HOA, trash pickup, security, lawn care, child care. That's right, I was the full-time babysitter too. She justified it by saying, "You work from home anyway. It's bonding time with your niece." So while I worked, I bonded, and she got weekly manicures, spa Saturdays, brunches that were just champagne-fueled gossip sessions. Her friends whispered behind my back, calling me the help. I know, I heard it. Through the baby monitor, she forgot to switch off. Still, I didn't make a scene. I held on to the idea that family shows up for family, but what they meant was family drains you dry, then mocks you when you're down. Things really spiraled after Rachel's second job fell apart. She got fired from some co-working startup. Not her fault, of course. Toxic environment, unrealistic expectations. Then came gig number 3, ghostwriting for influencers. Lasted 2 weeks. Then she needed space to find her purpose. Guess where she found it? On my couch. I paid for everything: therapy sessions, Wi-Fi, her Uber rides. She even had the audacity to Venmo request me $16.79 for snacks for her kid while I was mid-call with a Fortune 500 client. And when I brought it up, "Oh my God, are you keeping score now?" she snapped. "Relax. You don't even have kids. This is your way of giving back. Besides, that room downstairs is just sitting there." But then she crossed a line I never saw coming. One Saturday, I walked into my office and found her poking around my files, using my credentials to open tax documents. When I asked what the hell she was doing, she looked me dead in the eyes and said, "Trying to see what you actually earn. There's no way this lifestyle is from just a salary. You're hiding something." She said it like it was funny, but she wasn't joking. 2 days later, my phone lit up with a call from the bank. Someone had tried to change the info on my account. And the kicker? The request came from my home IP address. That's when I knew it was time. I installed cameras around the house. What I discovered floored me. Late at night, after I went to sleep, Rachel would sneak into my office. She wasn't checking emails or browsing Netflix. She was hosting Zoom calls with real estate agents, not to look for her own place. She was trying to sell mine, my house, without telling me. Using a fake listing she whipped up in Canva. Canva. I might have laughed if I hadn't been frozen in disbelief. I watched her tell a Compass Realty agent, "He's checked out emotionally. This home? It needs a new chapter, a new owner." And suddenly that birthday toast made sense. She'd been planning this, scheming to steal everything. And my parents? They didn't stop her. They let it happen. My mom, the queen of avoidance, always diffusing tension with a smile, always saying, "Let's not ruin the party," even while Rachel was tearing me to shreds in front of everyone. My dad didn't just watch. He backed her. He once told me, "You should feel lucky you've got something to give," right after I handed him a $5,000 check to clear Rachel's credit card debt she racked up buying a Louis Vuitton diaper bag. Her daughter's not even potty trained. They didn't see me as family. Not a son, not a brother. I was just their resource, a walking backup plan. So the moment I started pushing back, saying no, they flipped the script. First, it was the family group chat. "Logan is pulling away. He's not himself." Then came the pity whispers. "Maybe he's depressed. Someone should really check on him." But the lie that broke me? Rachel posted a selfie with my niece, captioned it, "Some people vanish when times get tough. Others step up. Be the second kind." Meanwhile, I was literally upstairs, feeding her daughter, while she was out getting her brows laminated. That was the moment I knew what I had to do. I opened the drawer in my office and pulled out an old flash drive. Years of receipts, records, evidence. Every payment I'd made, every login, every timestamp. I even saved the voicemail where she cried, begging me to cover utilities. Just this one time. She swore she'd move out next month. That was 19 months ago. I backed up everything, the fake listings, Zillow drafts, Canva files, even the texts she forgot to delete. Screenshots of her telling a friend, "If I play this right, the house is mine." That was the night before her birthday. I didn't sleep, didn't eat. I sat in my chair, combing through every single document like it was gospel. By morning, I had a new folder on my desktop, password protected, shared it with my lawyer, labeled it Exhibit A Family. Rachel thought her birthday bash would be her big moment. Center of attention, perfect cake, fake friends, the curated dream life she'd built on my back. She didn't know I was coming, and she definitely didn't expect me to bring company. When I stepped out onto the patio, the sound of clattering plates broke the air. It was one of those Pinterest backyard setups. String lights, overpriced catering, white linen draped tables. Rachel stood at the head like she was hosting an award show. I walked in, dressed in black. No smile, just presence. "Oh, look," she announced loud enough for the whole crowd to hear. "The house ghost speaks." Laughter, awkward looks. Then she lifted her glass. "Since 1998, he's been emotionally unavailable," she smirked. "But he still pays the bills." More chuckles. "To the new owner." Glasses clinked. I let them finish. I walked up to the head table, calm as stone, and placed a small black folder in front of her. "Happy birthday, Rachel," I said. She blinked, confused, looked down. "What is this?" she asked. Close, I said. Not quite a cease and desist. She opened it. First page, the fake house listing she created. Second, the email she sent to a real estate agent claiming full legal authority. Third, the forged ownership transfer with my fake signature. Fourth, a legal report from my attorney with the words fraudulent activity highlighted in bold. I stayed silent. Let the paperwork speak for itself. Then a voice behind me said, I can confirm all of it. Rachel froze. Ethan stepped forward. Her ex. He looked composed, clean, and he had his own folder in hand. My name's Ethan Blake, he said. I dated Rachel Morgan for 11 months. During that time, she manipulated me into co-signing loans, opening joint accounts, and giving her access to my personal logins. Ethan opened his folder and began laying out printed screenshots. She fabricated texts from her brother, he said, to make herself look like the victim. She edited voicemails, pieced together fake evidence, and I kept all of it. I'm not here to get revenge. I'm here to tell the truth. That's when her wine glass slipped from her hand and shattered on the patio. Someone gasped. Ethan wasn't finished. Here's a transcript of the audio she made to destroy her brother's reputation. Listen closely. The voice jumps in tone. The timestamps don't match. She spliced together random sound bites. Poorly. I reached into my pocket, pulled out a small Bluetooth speaker, and pressed play. A cold, robotic voice echoed across the party. You're cut nothing to me. Cut I've always cut hated you. Choppy, obvious. This, Ethan said, holding up the transcript, is what she tried to weaponize against him. This is how far she was willing to go. Rachel's eyes went wide. Her hands were visibly shaking. That's not what it sounds like, she shouted. You're twisting everything. I turned toward her, calm as ever. Oh, you mean the folder named FAM on your external drive? The one you forgot to unplug from my office? There were murmurs now, people shifting uncomfortably in their chairs. And since you enjoy surprises, I said, here's another one. I pulled out one final paper, printed on official legal letterhead. Effective immediately, I read aloud. Rachel Morgan is revoked of all tenancy and digital privileges. Every key code, every bank link, every smart system, disabled. The document was a notarized eviction notice. She had 72 hours to vacate, pre-approved by my attorney and already submitted to the county that morning. You forged my name to steal a house you never paid for. You tried to rewrite the story with screenshots and fake sound bites. You made me your villain. I leaned forward. Well, now I'm writing the final scene. Ethan wasn't done either. This isn't just about him, he said, turning back to the crowd. She did this to me, to her ex-roommate, even her last boss. He scanned the guests one by one. She's not misunderstood. She's manipulative. Rachel stood up and screamed, "Get out!" I tilted my head. Funny, I said. That's exactly what the court order says. That's when Dad stood, red-faced, loud, trying to take control of the room. That's enough, he barked. You're humiliating your sister. On her birthday, no less. What kind of man does this? I turned to him, looked him right in the eye. The kind who pays the bills while you sit in my chair sipping my scotch. The kind who quietly paid off your debts too. Remember? He didn't say another word. Then Mom finally spoke. Her voice was quiet, shaking. You didn't have to do this here. I did, I replied, because it's the only time you actually hear me, when there's an audience. And then silence, a long, heavy silence. Rachel stormed off into the house. Ethan handed me a flash drive. She tried to destroy both of us, he said. Now she can deal with the fallout. I pocketed it. Thanks, I said. As I walked toward the garden gate, I turned back once. Oh, and Dad, I called out. Since you co-signed Rachel's old loan using my address, check your email. The bank's been notified. Fraud's a tricky thing. Then I turned to the party guests. Next time you raise a glass to the new owner, make sure you actually know whose name is on the deed. And then I walked out. No one followed, no one applauded, not a single word. That night, the locks were changed, all the passwords were reset. My lawyer confirmed receipt of the full case file, and the next morning, Rachel woke up to a second letter on the door. This one wasn't a memo. It was the final notice. After that night, I didn't speak another word to her, or to any of them. No texts, no calls, no dramatic monologues about healing or boundaries. I just started unplugging. First went the electric bill, then the Wi-Fi, then the smart lock that let her in through her phone, then Amazon Prime, the grocery deliveries, the thermostat access, the bank authorizations, one by one, click, click, click. It was like dismantling a stolen car while the thief was still sitting inside it. I didn't announce anything. No grand finale, just clean up. 2 days after that disaster of a birthday, I got a call from Marissa, our HOA manager, the one Rachel used to talk down to like a maid. She left the keys in the lockbox, she said flatly, took her things, the 2 kids. That's it. No goodbye. That evening, out of curiosity, I checked the cameras. The living room was empty. A throw blanket still tossed across the couch where her daughter used to nap. A sippy cup rolled under the table. No sound, no shouting, no entitlement, just silence. Then I pulled up the feed from my parents' house. There it was, her car, parked halfway on the lawn, like the rules still didn't apply to her. She'd moved in with them. I watched the footage closely. Mom stood on the porch in a robe, arms crossed like a fortress. Dad paced in circles beneath the porch light, gesturing like he was trying to explain away a storm. And Rachel? She looked wrecked. Hair in a messy bun, toddler hanging from one hip, diaper bag slipping from her shoulder. They weren't greeting her. They were bracing for impact. She thought losing the house was the worst part. She was about to find out what it really meant to lose control. Now it was their turn. The missed payments, the drama, the guilt trips whenever cash didn't show up. They thought they were taking in a wounded soul. They inherited a walking disaster they weren't equipped to handle. Meanwhile, I was in my kitchen making tea. Same chipped mug from college, same old kettle. The one she once laughed at, called pathetic. But now, that silence was everything. Revenge without chaos. No mess to clean. No baby monitor crackling to life at 3 a.m. No pretending everything was fine. Just quiet. Then came the voicemails. My mom called first. Her voice cracked like glass trying not to shatter. "She's just overwhelmed, sweetheart. She didn't mean it. We were all stressed. Please, well, call me." Then another. "Your father's upset too. He just doesn't know how to show it. Please, don't take it out on the kids." Then one more. "She's still your sister." I didn't delete them. Didn't finish listening either. I just archived them in a folder named Unanswered, filed under the one marked Debt Paid in Full. Dad took 3 days to reach out. His message was cold, blunt. "You've made your point. Enough." No hello. No name. Like we were opponents in a chess match and he was conceding, grudgingly. Then at 2:14 a.m., Rachel finally texted, "I don't expect you to forgive me. The kids miss you." That one hit for a moment, made me stop. But I didn't reply. Let her explain to them why their uncle disappeared. Let her twist it however she wanted. I wouldn't correct her. Sometimes silence grows sharper than truth. No blog post, no dramatic update, no video, just action, clean, final. I reset every password, canceled the emergency card I once gave her, changed every lock, had my lawyer revise the trust. No one with my last name was getting access. I didn't yell, didn't vent. I just became the lock they'd never pick again. 1 week passed, then 2, and then one afternoon, a plain envelope slid under my door. No stamp, hand-delivered. Inside, just a single piece of paper. 7 words scribbled in her handwriting. "If I beg, will you listen now?" I folded it twice, slid it into the back of a drawer I rarely open. "No, Rachel, I won't. This wasn't revenge. It was removal. She wasn't just evicted from my home. She was erased from my narrative. And stories, real ones, don't come with guest rooms." The next time I checked the cameras, her car was gone. Not parked at my parents' anymore. I didn't know where she went, didn't care. Let her wander. Let her figure it out. But not here. Not again. The house stayed still. So did I. And for the first time since 1998, I didn't feel like I owed anyone an explanation for that. That's when I found the box, by accident, buried in the back of my storage closet, tucked behind years-old tax files and a mess of Ethernet cables. I knew exactly what it was. That's why I had never opened it. The lid resisted for a second, then gave way with a groan, like even the box itself didn't want to remember. Inside, crinkled letters, faded photos, old envelopes, scraps of a family I no longer claimed. Right on top was a sealed letter, my name printed on the front in my father's handwriting. Block letters, sharp, detached. It had been sitting there for over 10 years. He once gave it to my mother and said, "Give this to him when he's old enough to understand." I guess I'd finally reached that age. I held it for a long moment, maybe hoping it contained something real, something human, an apology, a moment of truth, even just a trace of softness. But the weight in my chest told me the real story. He didn't write apologies, only justifications. I opened it. It started with a single sentence. "I never wanted a son." I froze. There it was. Not screamed in a drunken rage. Not tossed in the heat of an argument. Written. Ink on paper. Permanent. He rambled on. About duty, legacy, how I was too sensitive, too soft to carry the Morgan name. He called my entire childhood a tax he paid. Said I should feel grateful he provided anything at all. And at the end, "If you ever amount to anything, don't thank me. I didn't do it for you." Then he signed it. I folded the letter carefully, precise, neat. Then I left it behind like a final insult. I didn't cry, didn't shout, didn't break anything. I just walked into the kitchen, picked up the box of matches I usually kept for candles, grabbed a metal mixing bowl, stepped outside. The sky was painted in deep orange, still and heavy. No wind, no voices, no neighbors in sight. Just silence, perfect for closure. I struck a match, held it for a second, then dropped it onto the paper. The flame caught instantly. Years of silence, of confusion, of quiet resentment, all igniting in a beautiful, controlled circle of fire. I let it burn, let it curl, let it die. Then I added more. The family photo from 2002, me with a forced smile, my hand awkwardly placed on Dad's shoulder. Gone. Next, the birthday card from Rachel. "You're the best brother when we need you." Burned. A receipt, proof I once bought our father a car, a gift he repaid by mocking me in front of everyone. That too turned to ash. Piece by piece, page by page, memory by memory. Not out of hate, but because they were never mine to hold on to. They didn't raise me. They relied on me, used me, and I had finally stopped volunteering for the role. When the last curl of black ash folded in on itself, I tipped the bowl into the trash, shut the lid, and for the first time, there was nothing left to defend. No more records to prove I tried. No more fragments of the past clinging to my identity. No more inherited burdens disguised as legacy. They gave me nothing I ever asked for, so I returned it all. In flame. This wasn't revenge. It was release. It was peace. It was mine.